The World Cup is not the only prestigious football event on the planet. However, of the several prestigious football events, it is the most prestigious and the most anticipated. It comes up every 4 years, and every player looks forward to playing in the World Cup. Every country is interested in playing at the World Cup. Unfortunately, only a handful of countries get to play at this tournament. One reason is because teams have to go through a qualifying phase before they get to play at the World Cup. So, what's the other? As much as the majority of countries that do not play at the World Cup are missing in action because they failed to qualify, some actually fail to play at the World Cup because they simply are not allowed to. This perhaps sounds strange, but some countries have been banned from playing at the World Cup at some points. Some of these countries are still banned. However, others are now free to play at the World Cup. These are the 9 most banned countries from the FIFA World Cup. We will go on in a bit, but first, like and share this video. Also hit the bell button to avoid missing our other videos. Let's get started. Russia. If you have been following the news closely for about a year, you are definitely aware that Russia and Ukraine are at war. Now, at this point, you might be wondering what the correlation between politics and football is. Well, the world does not agree with Russia's attack on Ukraine, and it appears FIFA has taken sides. Although FIFA might be unable to stop Russia from going on with its offensive in Ukraine, it has banned all Russian national teams, as well as clubs, from taking part in any football activity. And this ban is indefinite. It took FIFA quite a while to hit the hammer on Russia. However, the national teams of countries like Sweden, Poland, and England had put the apex football governing body under intense pressure by refusing to get on the pitch with Russia. As it stands, this World Cup ban will most likely be on so long as Russia continues its offensive against Ukraine. South Africa. The Republic of South Africa was considered unfit to take part in any FIFA-controlled tournament between 1961 and the early 1990s. FIFA's action was a response to a major anti-apartheid movement which was interested in getting FIFA to ban South Africa from all football-related events. On the surface, it appeared FIFA was letting politics affect its decisions. The apartheid was political, but in this situation, FIFA wasn't mixing football and politics, South Africa was. While apartheid in South Africa was at its peak, it placed a ban on mixed-race teams from taking part in competitions hosted by South Africa. Every team that was interested in taking part in a competition hosted by South Africa needed to be represented by an all-white team. South Africa was not only banned from the World Cup, it got banned from the Olympics, as well as other sports activities outside football. The apartheid got dismantled in the early 1990s, and FIFA opened its gates to South Africa once again. Chile. Moving from South Africa to South America, where football is such a big deal, Chile could not play in the 1994 World Cup. You probably know they did not play in this World Cup. However, if you assumed they were not at this World Cup because they couldn't qualify, you were wrong. If Chile had played in the qualifiers but failed to qualify, it would have been okay. Unfortunately, they were not even allowed to play in the qualifiers. It is easy to assume that FIFA was a little harsh by not letting Chile take place in the qualifiers for the 1994 World Cup, but FIFA perhaps reacted in the best way possible at the time. As the issue between FIFA and Chile started 4 years before the 1994 World Cup. It was all fine between FIFA and Chile when the qualifiers for the 1990 World Cup were on. However, just as the qualifiers were ending, things went south between Chile and FIFA, and it all ended in a ban. So, what exactly happened? Chile were up against Brazil in the qualifiers for a spot at the 1990 World Cup, and if Brazil won or drew, they would be at the World Cup. Brazil was leading, and there was just 20 minutes till the end of the match when it seemed like Chile's Roberto Rojas was struck by a flare from a part of the stadium. Unfortunately, this part of the stadium had Brazilian supporters. Rojas was injured and the game had to be abandoned. For a moment, it seemed like he got injured by the flare, but the assumption was wrong. Subsequently, it was obvious that he injured himself with a razor blade he hid in his kit. FIFA had no choice but to hit Chile with the hammer, and they were banned from the World Cup. Yugoslavia. Speaking of being banned from the 1994 World Cup, Chile was not the only country at FIFA banned from taking part in this tournament. Yugoslavia was also banned. However, unlike Chile's ban, which was all football-related, Yugoslavia's ban was FIFA's way of supporting UN sanctions against the European country. Mexico. 4 years before Yugoslavia got banned for taking part in the 1994 World Cup, Mexico couldn't take place in the World Cup because they were banned. The interesting thing about this ban is it appeared FIFA was dealing with the Mexican senior football team because of an offense committed by the youth team. So, what was this offense? A year before the 1990 World Cup, Mexico was supposed to take part in the 1989 World Youth Championship. They just couldn't jump into this tournament. They had to go through the qualifiers. This did not seem like a problem in any way. However, the Mexicans were up to something that was going to haunt them for a couple of years. In the team that was to play the qualifiers were 4 overaged players. The Mexicans were smart, but FIFA was smarter and banned Mexico from the 1990 World Cup. This ban ended after 2 years. Myanmar. FIFA's ban on Myanmar is not the most recent. It dates back to 2011 when Myanmar football fans exhibited violent behaviors in a match between Myanmar and Oman. These activities were not just violent, they could have led to the loss of lives. In this Asian qualifying match, Myanmar fans threw glass bottles and stones at the visiting coach, the Omani players, and the match officials. Things were so bad, the Omani players hurried into the dressing room to stay safe. If they hadn't done this, maybe there could have been serious injuries or even the loss of life. In this match, Oman were already up by 2 goals. This was perhaps the reason why Myanmar fans opted to attack anyone that wasn't a part of their team. Since this match couldn't go on till the end and the Omanis were winning, FIFA declared the Omanis victorious. If awarding Oman the victory was all FIFA had done, it would have been just all right. Nonetheless, FIFA did even more. It banned Myanmar from the 2014 World Cup. Also, this team couldn't take part in the 2018 tournament. Although Myanmar remained banned for the 2014 World Cup, it appealed its ban for the 2018 World Cup and was successful. So, this ban got lifted. Kuwait. 2 years after the ban on Myanmar, Kuwait wasn't allowed to take part in football-related activities. Due to this ban, the Middle East country could not go on with its 2018 World Cup qualifier against Myanmar. FIFA suspended Kuwait from the 2018 World Cup because its government interfered in its football association. This ban was on for more than 2 years. It lasted exactly 782 days. Of course, football fans from Kuwait are glad the ban is over. However, the effect of this ban might be on for much longer. According to a Kuwaiti national team player, this ban has killed 2 generations of football stars, and Kuwait, that once dominated football in Asia, will wait a very long time before enjoying the enviable position it once held in its region. Zimbabwe. In February 2022, FIFA banned Zimbabwe from taking part in any FIFA-organized tournament. This ban was a reaction to the Zimbabwean government making attempts at controlling the Zimbabwe Football Association. The government's explanation for trying to take control of football in the country was the lack of accountability of the association. Additionally, the Zimbabwe Football Association did not look into cases of sexual abuse against female football players. Although it appeared the Zimbabwean government was trying to right some wrongs by the Football Association, its action was against the FIFA rule that prevents governments from meddling in the activities of football associations. This ban was not indefinite, so it was lifted after 18 months so the country can take part in qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup. The situation in Zimbabwe has not been resolved yet. However, with the ban lifted, the association might be forced to resolve the issue. Kenya. FIFA's ban on Kenya came at the same time Zimbabwe was banned, and just like the ban on Zimbabwe, this ban was due to third-party involvement in the nation's football activities. The Kenyan Sports Ministry had intervened in internal issues in the nation's football federation. It went on to disband this federation because of allegations of the misappropriation of funds. It did not stop at this, it even set up a caretaker committee. This World Cup ban on Kenya lasted 9 months and would have perhaps lasted even longer if nothing had been done. However, a new sports minister came on board and ensured the Football Federation's executive committee got reinstated. And that's it with the 9 nations most banned from the World Cup. So which of these nations do you think shouldn't have been banned? Kindly tell us in the comments section below. Also, subscribe to this channel if you are new here. See you in the next video.